and accountants, so we know what it's like having that type of crunch, which is where we've had the idea, why don't we make a piece of software that would help us reclaim some of that lost time that you have dealing with tax season. So that was the impetus for where we got started with our first product in technology, and then we modified it slightly, and we now have it for tax season. We're calling it TaxDocs. So I want to just give an analogy. Being the marketing guy here, I'm a big believer in analogies. I want to give you a story about what it was like 100 years ago when you might have been, your family might have been farming. That was the primary source of revenue for lots of different families back then. The problem was there was too much work to do. I mean, you basically had to get up at the crack of dawn when light was around and available. Doesn't matter what the weather is. Get yourself outside, feed the animals that you're going to be able to use for pulling equipment. Get out, plant or weed or harvest, whatever the case was. Doesn't matter how tired you were or how you felt or whatever the case was. And you never seemed to have enough time in your day to get everything done. On top of that, too, if you owned the farm, you were under pressure to get more work done. You wanted to possibly buy more land. You maybe wanted to plant crops that might give you more revenue. I heard many stories from my grandmother who came from a farm, and her family was farming, and it was very backbreaking work. And it was always revolving around the fact that you never had enough time, but this was the only way you could make your livelihood. And that goes into our next slide, which is how things changed in 100 years. Technology came to the rescue of farming. And what happened was that you were able to do more work in less time. That means you could buy other fields, you could plant other crops, you could get more done with the hours in the day. Maybe the weather didn't even have to affect you anymore now, because as that image shows there, somebody's inside of an enclosed cockpit on a tractor, and it helps. There's tons of advantages that came from these technological improvements over 20 and 40 and 60 and then 100 years. And the bottom line was farmers were able to do less labor-intensive, back-breaking work and get more revenue from the time they were spent on farming. So with that analogy fresh in your minds, the same thing is now starting to apply towards your profession for tax season. When we built this software and we started testing it out with our own internal processes, we found time saving up to 30%. And that's a huge chunk when you're getting as much work as you can during the crunch of tax season. It lets you, spend more time doing things that are more productive, perhaps to grow the revenue of the business, take more clients in. Or maybe you want to use that time to take a break, spend time with your family. There's lots of different ways you can accommodate, and you can plan to use this 30% gain in productivity. It's entirely up to you. So we called our software TaxDocs. It's a very simple program that you can use, very self-explanatory, and it's going to help you reclaim that lost time and allow you to get more done in less work. So some of the advantages, obviously the biggest one is you get to earn more revenue. Who wouldn't want to do that during tax season? You get to reduce your workload. So some of the redundant processes that just eat up time over and over again, that can be eliminated. This also decreases the stress level. Some of the things that you do in your job can just build up and be, a bit of a grind to do. Maybe you're dealing with clients that aren't getting back to you fast enough. Maybe you're unaware that an important document came in because it got lost in the volume of all the things that you're receiving. That level of stress adds up, and so TaxDocs helps reduce that as well too. You can also grow the number of your tax clients, which means you provide the service during that season, you're able to show more value, maybe they become long-term customers for your business. And the great thing about this is that our clients are saying is that you can achieve this and you can get this benefit to your clients all for less than the cost of a latte per client. So you go to Starbucks or your favorite local place and you order yourself a double mocha cappuccino, whatever the case is. For the cost of that, you can start earning more money, reducing your stress levels, and reducing the workload on you.
So at a high level, let's describe a bit about how TaxDocs actually works, and then we'll go into a live look and show you how you can use this automation software to get that 30% back. So the first step is sending your tax client a unique email address that they can use to then upload all their slips for you to review. Once the client uploads all their tax slips, and they can do so in a number of different ways, whether it's by email, taking photos of receipts on their smartphone, sending them through our mobile app, or connecting their scanner up. There's a number of different ways that a client can easily send information to you. We wanted to make that process as simple and straightforward as possible. So once they've done that, and then I'll add that all of this is done securely if done through the browser through bank level encryption, where the data is protected and encrypted before it gets transferred to us. So security was always a paramount aspect of all of this, because we're dealing with very sensitive data. So once the documents actually get uploaded from your client, what happens then? Well, that's when you as a tax pro take over. The first thing you'll notice is you'll actually receive notifications when the documents arrive. You'll get pinged if you're logged into the app, and then you also get emails on a daily basis at the beginning of the day to give you a summary of everything that's been uploaded the day before in that 24-hour period. So you can wake up and know exactly what's been done overnight or throughout the course of the previous day, and that lets you plan out your work for that for the rest of your day. So that's a great way to wake up and see what you may need to be focusing in on, and what actually still requires input from your clients, and in that you haven't received that information yet. Once you've got the document, you can touch it, you can feel it all electronically by adding notes, zooming in, flipping documents around, and really collaborating at a document level on every single item that's been uploaded. And like I said before, if you've got some clients who have not been listening to you and uploading their documents, well, we've got a process for that as well. We can simply schedule reminders and automatic updates so that you can do that once only, and then basically get all of your clients to get automatic reminders from you, even though you've only set it up once. So that's a great way to just kind of save some time again, get that time back, and worry about the clients who are sending you information, but still not forget about the ones that aren't.
One of the things that we've been hearing some feedback on TaxDocs about has been from just the joy of when you get into the office in the morning, you get to see that clients have uploaded documents to you at like 2:30 in the morning when you were asleep, but they were up maybe and getting stuff done then. It seems to be a nice little boost to productivity in your day, and a little bit of an emotional boost forward, thinking that, okay, when I was resting, other people were preparing work for me. Now I don't have to chase them down.
So we're going to go and take a look at TaxDocs Live, and some of the things we're going to cover in our quick demo here are getting started, what do you do with your account when you first get logged into it, how do you set up each client and customize some of their options, and then how does it look like on the client's end, how does it look like uploading receipts, and what tools can you use and best practices can you use to introduce TaxDocs to your clients. So what I'm going to do now is just switch over to my browser window, and you should see this come up on your screens momentarily, where I've logged into TaxDocs using Chrome as my browser. And if you have trouble seeing this, or it's coming up a little bit too small, I just suggest that you go to full screen on your webinar software there. There'll be a button that lets you expand the screen out, and then you can go to full screen, and that will allow you to see, if you've got a smaller monitor, to see some of the writing that I'm going to be showing you.
So if you're able to see the screen right now, you'll be able to notice there's a blue bar at the top that says LedgerDocs. That was the parent program that we developed that helped us with the automation technology. Highlighted on the left-hand side column there, it says bookkeeping, and then right underneath that it says TaxDocs. So we're going to be able to dive into TaxDocs in a moment. You're going to see what that user interface screen looks like, and how you're going to be able to upload documents and see what activity has been happening over the course of the day from your clients. So both of those programs are very easy to use. We've gotten lots of great feedback from people. giving requests about, can you change this, maybe make this a little bit more self-explanatory. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible so that people can quickly understand how it is, get used to it, and their clients can get on board very quickly.
So the first thing you're going to do once you're logged into your account is actually set up your clients. So I've already got a few set up on the left side. You can see all my clients for tax are listed here on the left. So I've got John, Barb, and Raj. Let's go ahead and add one on the fly and see how this works. So I'm going to click on the blue button at the top that says Add Company. And let's go ahead and choose a company name, or a client name. So I'm going to call it Pat.
Wayne Enterprises. Let's go Batman.
we'll go Pat.
Okay, we'll go Pat.
We'll use Pat's name. And once I've created the company name or the client name, it's going to suggest for me an email address to attach to this particular client. And I'm going to just take that and use Pat Sow as the email address. And so anything that you now send to patsow@app.ledgerdocs.com, it's going to actually show up in the inbox of that particular client. And we'll go and see what that looks like. Then finally here, this is where I would invite my client, so I could put in their email address. So I'm going to put in Pat's email address here. And he's going to get an invitation to register. And the invitation is going to come on behalf of me. And I've logged in myself here as Susan Shaw. That's my account as my tax professional. And it's going to get an email sent out to Pat saying, hey, Susan's going to invite you to collaborate on your documents. Just click on this link and register, and then you'll be on your way. There we go. That's all it takes. That took about 30 seconds or so, probably a little bit longer because I was talking my way through it. But now that I've gone ahead and done that, I see here under TaxDocs, I see a new client called Pat Sow. And you can see here on the left side, I've got some pre-made folders for Pat. I've got an inbox. I've got a couple of folders for the previous year as well as the current year, and then another folder for tax returns. This is completely customizable. So while we've made this, particular folder structure by default, you can customize this to your liking by simply clicking on the right-click button on your mouse. And similar to how you use it on your own computer, you can rename the folder, you can add subfolders, you can search this folder, and you can create, as I said, new subfolders underneath it. So it's just a matter of how you'd like to customize this particular client. Let's go over and actually send some files out. So let's pretend to be one of your clients. So if one of your clients has logged in and signed in and see their client listed here, an important thing to point out is your client that you invite. So Pat's only going to see Pat. He's not going to see all the other clients like John, Barb, and Raj. Of course, this is important for security. But you as a tax pro, because you are the admin of all these companies and you've invited the respective owners there or the respective tax client there, you can simply just have all of them all in one spot. So in Pat's case, what he's going to do is once he logs in, he's going to upload to Inbox. And that's the big green button on the top right of your screen. And from here, he can simply just drag and drop files that are on his computer already. So I've got a few here already that I'm going to upload. So let me go ahead and do that. So in this case, I've got some different documents here, like slips and receipts that might be applicable to filing my taxes. And you'll notice that I have different file types. I have Adobe PDF, I have JPEGs, and I can also select more than one at a time. That was a little trick that I did, even though you wouldn't have seen it, is I just simply hit Control on my keyboard and that let me select more than one at a time. So you can see now that I've uploaded them, we go to the inbox here, and the inbox is really your hub in terms of the documents that are getting uploaded to TaxDocs here. And once they're in, we go to that sort of second line of the workflow that I mentioned earlier, and you can go in and actually view this document. You can manipulate it by rotating it like I'm doing here using the toolbar on the top. I can zoom in or out. I can pan left or right, and I can also use my scroll wheel or my mouse to move this particular document around. And you won't see me doing this, but what I'm doing is just using my scroll wheel to go in and out and zoom in. So once that is uploaded, you can see that, okay, this is clearly a slip perhaps that I need to enter into my tax return, and you can go ahead and do that. So one distinction that we should point out, and Patrick can speak to this as well, is we wanted to be very laser focused in how we approach this. So our bread and butter and the way how we excel is around organization and electronic management of documents. And so we wanted to make that process very simple and very easy. There's tons of software out there that actually does a great job of actually filing the taxes and coming up with what your deduction amounts are going to be, what your final output is in terms of either a credit or a refund or a payment that you have to make. So we're letting the professionals who program and run those kind of software packages, we're letting them do the heavy lifting in terms of actually calculating the tax return. So I wanted to draw that distinction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What we wanted to zero in on is the pain point of how do you collect all these documents together that are really important? How do you get them from a client that said, okay, I'll get it to you by Wednesday, maybe they don't get back to you right away, you have to remind them and let them know the deadline's coming up, whatever the case is, then you want to bundle it all together. That method, that user experience is very, very important, and people want to get at things quicker, faster, but also more easier to understand, more intuitive. So that was baked into the development of TaxDocs, and it was really important for us to make this as easy as possible to manage, to control, to file it, to sort it to the particular way that the client wants to do things their own way. Even on the right-hand side there, you'll notice some additional information as well. We've got, you can rename your files, you can tag it if you are putting things underneath a certain association. Maybe there's a group of people, maybe it's a nonprofit, whatever the case is. You can write additional notes at the bottom of that, whatever the case is. Maybe this photograph too blurry, you need to remind the client, send another one, whatever the case is. It's all entirely up to you.
So I know what you guys might be thinking, and well, it's February 28th today, and tax season is upon us. Not as just upon us, we're in the middle of it. You know, I'm just going to wait till next year. It's too late to introduce this right now to my clients. You know, what am I going to do at this late stage? Well, the reason we're doing this now is because we wanted to capture an opportunity. And the opportunity is that, you know, there's still time. If you haven't introduced a solution already, if you're struggling to keep up this season, you've still got time to course correct. And we've proven this in our own business and with other clients that it's not too late. This is a really simple and easy onboarding tool for your clients. And so that's why we still wanted to share it today, even though some may feel that it might be a little late in the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, something like this, it's almost like if you're familiar with Basecamp, it's easy to get up and going using that type of software. Even if you want to get Netflix and you never used it before and you wanted to scroll around and find something to watch, we wanted to make this very, very easy to onboard for our clients, our customers, the people who are going to be doing and filing, preparing taxes for people. And their clients too to use, whether they're going to be taking photographs of their income statements via a phone and sending them up to the email that they get from their tax provider. Whatever the case is, we wanted to make sure that was very simple. So you can learn this, I mean, in 10 minutes, you can be up to speed and know what you're doing.
I wanted to show one final thing, and that basically covers off all the basics of TaxDocs and what you need to know to really get this up and running. And this is the request document area. And I briefly alluded to this earlier, and Pat did as well, around how to save time and how to reduce some of that stress. So we have an automatic request document feature that we've built into TaxDocs. So all TaxDoc clients do get access to this feature across their entire client base that they upload. And this is a way for you to set up these automatic reminders. So in this case, I'm going to put in a subject saying need documents to file taxes. And what are you requesting? Well, I'm going to request, let's say, your income slip any deduction slips. I'm generalizing here. Each one might be slightly different. But what you can do is set up templates to make this process even simpler, and customize as you need. So any deduction slips, any income slips, any if you're in Canada, it's RSP. If you're in the States, it can be an IRA. I believe that's the term. So any kind of income reduction mechanisms, I'll just call it that. And then anything else that you might need, let's say charitable donations. I'll give you 4 examples there. There might be 10 things that you might request from a client, and perhaps only a few of them apply to each one, but at least you're putting the whole list out there so the client can actually think about what items they might need to send you. They might not even have thought of, hey, I can actually write this off for my taxes, but since you listed it here, oh, maybe I do have something. And then you can put in a personalized message. Perhaps it's a deadline, or perhaps it's additional information that you need to share with them. Maybe it's something about your office hours, or just your general way of working. So anything you want, you can put in this message. And then you can schedule the reminder. So I can schedule this on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis. So we're actually also we got some feedback recently, and we're going to add daily in this as well, because some people want to be able to send these reminders out daily. So we want to give that option as well. So in this case, I'll put weekly, and I'll put it at a day of the week, let's say Monday. But you can customize this. Some clients might want to hear from you and be at a computer on Sunday nights when they're doing their paperwork, or early in the morning, or late at night. It just depends on your relationship with the client and when you think they're going to be at a computer and be able to send you this information. So I'll just leave it at Monday at, let's say, 6 a.m. and we'll use that and schedule this and send it off. And I can send myself a copy as well. I'll just check this off and go ahead and schedule that. And now that's going to go every Monday. That's going to get automatically sent out until you turn it off.
The thing that I like best about this is a client comes around and uses this, and with one email they say, oh, thank you for coming on board using my service. We're going to be preparing your taxes. Here are the things I need from you. Please have them by this date. You can save that document, and then every time a new person comes on board, you just enter their email, create a new client folder for them, and then you just go back, grab that, put it in there, and you're saving yourself all that time.
So that is a live look at LedgerDocs and TaxDocs and how they work together. And what we'll do now is, you're probably wondering, okay, well, this sounds great. What's it going to cost me, and how am I going to get this implemented into my firm?
So that's our pricing on the screen right there. We really wanted to value price this and make it very affordable for any size business to come on board and get a number of folders for their clients and use it and see the value for it. So our lowest plan right now is what we call TaxDocs 25. You get to have 25 tax clients, so 25 different folders you can use, a maximum of 350 uploads. So it should be more than enough for any one client. If they got 20 or 30 documents, you can handle it. You have year-round hosting and support, so after tax season, the documents will still be stored on our server. You can have access to it anytime you want, and the price for that plan is $97. As it goes up, as you add 25 more clients per time, you get to see the prices go. There's a bit more of a discount. So when you get TaxDocs 50, it's a little bit less than getting 2 25 plans. When you get TaxDocs 100, it works out to $3.45 per client. And we've got some clients that have even more, and they go up, and for that, there's a custom plan. The thing about this too is, if you want to start off and just say, okay, I might have 50 clients this tax season, I don't know, but start off at TaxDocs 25, you can definitely do that. And then once you max out, if you see the value and the benefit for you, then you can go on and add on a 50 plan or a 25 plan to the existing one. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, that's overview of the pricing. I wanted to keep it pretty simple and straightforward. I don't know if we've got some questions there. We can take a few moments and ask them or answer them.
Yeah, so we have some questions coming in. So first question is around just client training. What do you think is the best way to introduce this to your client without the client getting too overwhelmed?
Well, I mean, there's a great, we could either do one of two things. This is the easiest stuff to do. First thing is, you can invite them to one of our webinars. We have the weekly webinars, so they can bring them on board, and we're starting to see some of our clients see if that's okay. They can send people here, and we show them how to do that. Or you can watch a video. So we're in the process of just finishing up a video right now that we're going to have that's going to show them how to walk through this. And that'll be available probably in the next 5 days, and they can use that. There's also help features on our website. We have a FAQ that currently exists on the TaxDocs page. We also have a blog that goes into greater detail about TaxDocs, and we also offer full customer support as well too. You can give us a call at our toll-free line, and one of our customer service people will be happy to answer the question and help you out. We try to keep it pretty simple and straightforward for the software. So, you know, a couple of minutes usually we can get you through and figure out what the problem is. And if you got feedback and something's there, we would love to see if we can implement it, maybe improve it even more.
Okay, another question, just clarifying the pricing. It's $97, let's say for tax 25, $97 a year, or $183 for tax 50 per year. Is that so? That means I do have access to the documents throughout the year, yes?
Yes, you have it for a full year. We've gotten feedback from people that wanted to be able to have that option, and we're starting to see some questions coming from clients too, who seem to be more interested in storing their documents for a number of years. They don't have to have a physical location for it, so it exists somewhere secure on the cloud. So year-round access is important, so it's easy to do that.
Okay. Question just around uploads per client. So is it 2,000 uploads per client or a total of 2,000 uploads? I guess this is probably referring to the tax 100 option. Yeah,
that's right, because TaxDocs 25 is 350 uploads. TaxDoc 50 is 800, and then TaxDocs 100 is 2,000 uploads. That's the total amount of uploads you can do in that plan. So for TaxDocs 100, you would have 100 tax clients you could create folders for, and of that 100 clients, you could have a maximum of 2,000 uploads. That's the feedback we've gotten from people that seem to say that's a good, healthy amount of uploads. If you need to get more uploads for whatever reason, like perhaps it's a certain niche, maybe it's a certain type of industry, I don't know. Feedback from your people is they need more of that. You can contact us and we'll be able to figure out and get some accommodation to it, what that is. But we try to keep that as a general rule of thumb, that 2,000 as a minimum for uploads.
So I guess that if you break it down, it's about 20 uploads in a year per tax client. Which means that, you know, out of the 20 items that you might be requesting, or 10 items you might be requesting, you know, you might get a few of those sort of catch. If you need more, you know, some clients might have only a couple of slips, and some clients have more, so it kind of evens out. But again, as Patrick mentioned, if you need more, we can look to accommodate.
Yeah. I mean, this is our first year rolling this product out, so we're interested in feedback from that. But the feedback we've heard is exactly what Nadir has said, that some people, okay, I've got a client, they've got, you know, 7 documents, they never have to worry about anything else. I've got another client, they've got more than a dozen. It varies, but by and large, we think that this is the average. 20 is good, but if we get a client that comes to us and says, okay, we've got way more coming from this niche, we'll listen and we'll see if we could accommodate that.
Just had a question around the format, you know, can you download documents after they've been uploaded? So I'll take that one. Yes, so you can certainly do that. We don't keep anything in a format that's proprietary. Everything that gets uploaded is kept intact, just the exact format that it was uploaded. So if it was a PDF, if it was a JPEG or another image format, we keep it at the exact same format. So at a later date, if you did want to download that particular document, you could simply just do so and still have access to it on your own computer. Of course, the benefits of having it in the cloud, there's a ton of them. Just the main one being not having not having the worry or the stress of losing that document, having it sort of rub off if it's a thermal receipt, or if you, God forbid, if you have any kind of issue in your home office or home where the document is damaged or maybe even stolen, if it's part of a larger issue, then you're going to have a backup of that in the cloud. That's one of the great benefits of the cloud is everything that we do is all backed up in multiple locations actually. So in that sense, you're rest assured that you'll be taken care of.
Yeah, just following up on that, the parent company of TaxDocs is called Ledgers Online. We've been around since 2002. We were one of the early pioneers in developing technology to help accountants and bookkeepers organize their time better and get more value out of their day, more productivity out of their day. We've been listening very close and following the market and paying attention to the technology. It's gotten smarter and better. And that's what we wanted to do for TaxDocs this year is get more of the advances that's happening right now from machine learning and smart processing and incorporate that into a very easy to understand workflow for people. So, I mean, smartphones are every day now. People use them all the time. It's easy to get the concept of taking a photograph of your income statement and sending it rather than driving over to your accountant's office and dropping it off. Everybody's trying to find ways to save more time. So that's the basic goal behind of all the technology software that we're creating.
Oh, that's a great segue. Actually, we were getting some questions around the mobile app and how that actually works.
Yeah.
So I can take that one.
We should quickly mention.
Yeah, I can take that one. So if you have an iPhone or an Android, we have native mobile apps to be able to take photos of the receipt and upload them to your Tax Pro. And so that's how it works with the mobile app. You can go to the App Store, either Google Play or the iTunes Store, and just download that app. Just search for LedgerDocs when you do so, and you'll be able to download it. If you've got a client who's on a platform other than one of those two, you can still use it on your smartphone, but what you're going to be doing is taking a photo of the actual document and then using the mail app on that phone and just attaching it and then sending it using email. So for example, the email that I set up earlier for Pat was patsal@app.ledgerdocs.com. Just save that as a contact. That would be our best practice. Save that as a contact, get your client to do that, and then anything that they send and take a photo of, just email to that particular address and it'll get sent up to your TaxDocs folder.
We get another question here from a fellow named Patrick. So awesome, he's great. I'm going to say my name. Is the unique email per the client so that they can send in files via email? I think that you almost got that right there. Yeah, so as Nadir mentioned, yeah, it is a unique email that you're sending off to the client with the name of that person, the name of the company, whatever the case is. So they can definitely use that and you'll know exactly who's sending the documents in, where it's coming from, and they'll go exactly to that folder that you set up that email for. I believe you can also add other people to the email or to the folder too if you wanted to for that company, right? You could add other names. Yeah, you can collaborate with more than one person in that particular client file. So, but you're in control as the administrator of that. Yeah, for sure. So a common use case for that would be like a husband and wife, for example, if they're going to be sharing sort of data between the two tax returns, or if it's a joint return. What's going to happen there is you can actually invite both the husband and wife, and then they, using their own phones or own accounts, can upload documents. But they can't invite anybody else. Correct. Okay. Correct. They won't be able to invite others. And sort of on that note as well, anybody who has access to that particular client has the ability to upload. So you, as the accountant, can upload files and documents, and of course the client can do that as well as we demonstrated. So for example, once you've let's say filed a tax return or gotten a copy of it, and you want the client to, let's say, approve it, if you don't want to email it back, just have it uploaded to your TaxDocs folder and get the client to log in and view it there, and they can mark it up by putting in comments after reviewing it. So that's another way to collaborate. And also save more time too. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Okay, another quick question there. Can both the client and the accountant upload documents? Yeah, okay, yeah, so we got that too. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good stuff. Okay, good. The other thing, I know we're going a little bit over time here. I just want to quickly mention this. You see those buttons, graphics on the bottom saying Start Trial. Like to invite you guys today to open an account and give it a go. It's free trial for 14 days using this. Get in there with one folder, kick the tires, see what you think of it, try it out, upload some documents, see what it feels like on your end. And if you see that, okay, yeah, this is fairly straightforward and simple, and I can see the benefit for me during the season, awesome. You can come on and then you can upgrade the plan right there from inside the app by clicking the link to upgrade plan, and then you can pick the plan 25, 50, 100, whatever you want.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our time today, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join Patrick and I as we presented to you TaxDocs. And if you have any follow-up questions after the webinar, please give us a shout at support@ledgerdocs.com. The email address is listed on your screen. And again, we have that free trial option for 14 days, so I encourage you to check that out and get in touch with us if you need anything.
Yep. And best of luck this season. I hope you get lots of clients and you get through it, and it's a very rewarding process for you.
Thanks, and have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week. See you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.